Okay. So for our next demo here, we're going to talk about streusel. Streusel is one of the items that's going to usually go on top of maybe an apple pie or that wonderful blueberry muffin that you're going to like. But more importantly, I use streusel as your first attempt at doing the biscuit method. If this is your first time ever making biscuits, making streusel first is kind of a really nice, it's kind of a nice precursor, because if you overmix streusel, you just overmix some streusel, it's no big deal. If you overmix a biscuit, however, you're going to end up with something very tough that you can play hockey with, and not something that you can typically like enjoy at the dinner table. So we're going to start first doing what you typically would do in the biscuit method, which is taking all the dry. This is our flour and a little bit of our cinnamon, and we're going to put that directly into our mixer. And I'm using a paddle attachment. And then we're going to take our sugar. This is brown sugar and white sugar. Now obviously in a biscuit you would not have that much sugar in it unless maybe it was a scone or a bowberry biscuit or something from our local restaurant. But the big thing is here is you'll see that the butter has been chopped into small pieces, and more importantly right now it's cold. You got to have that butter cold to do this. So we're going to turn our mixer on, and I'm going to take these butter chunks and I'm going to throw them in. And while I'm doing this, I'll talk a little bit about the biscuit method itself. What we're typically trying to do with the biscuit method is we are trying to coat the fat, or should I say coat the flour with the fat. And what that does is it inhibits the liquids being absorbed by our buttermilk or milk that we're using, or cream in the case of a scone. So by coating all of the flour with this fat, we're allowing for the flour itself to be coated and kind of protected. So as we add the liquid will be absorbed slowly, and therefore not allowing us to really produce any gluten strands. We don't want gluten strands into our biscuits. And doing the streusel this way is kind of nice. Stop this for a second. And I can show you a handful. You'll see some of the chunks have broken down, but what's happening is we're ending up with something that looks kind of like a cornmeal consistency. So we'll let this run for about 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll come back to the streusel and what it should look like at the end. It's very, very important that you stay with the streusel. Don't walk off from it, and just watch. And as soon as you see those large lumps of butter go away, that's when you want to stop it. And then I'll show you what to do with the rest of that. So just finishing up the streusel here, and I think this is exactly what we're looking for. I'll pour this out onto our paper here so you can kind of see. It looks like that, we call it cornmeal consistency in the industry, but me personally, I call it the purchased cake mix. It always has those little clumps. And so you can see there's a few little chunks of butter in there, but that's actually really good because that causes it to melt. Okay? So we're going to take that mixture. I'm going to take a container here. Nice little cool chef tip by pouring it onto the parchment paper, and then when I go to put it in this container, I don't have any mess. Feel free to use that one at home. So we've got our streusel, and I could store this in the freezer for upwards of a month or so. So that'll work. So we're going to use this on top of our muffins.